Come on out, Charlie. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Charlie, the bubble-eating dog. Charlie, are you there? Okay, that was Charlie, the All right. Boy, is my face red. Turns out he's not hungry. All right, so we got a room full of bubbles and no dog.
He's not hungry.
That's the punchline to an old joke, isn't it? I think so.
Had the shortest skirt.
You're watching a scene from the last film in which Julia Roberts had the leading role 2.5 years ago. The movie was Dying Young, and for a while it seemed the perfect metaphor for her career.
Our first guest is a lovely and talented actress whose films include Mystic Pizza. You did see this?
Yes.
Yeah. And she also stars in the soon-to-be-released Steel Magnolias, in which she co-stars with Sally Field and our old friend Shirley MacLaine. There she is playing with Charlie. Charlie may not let her out here.
I guess he was hungry after all.
Yeah.
Her story had a fairy tale spin from the start. The pretty girl from Smyrna, Georgia, who became the pretty woman of Hollywood. 2 Oscar nominations, a Golden Globe, the most bankable actress in town after only a handful of movies. In role after role, she walked the line between hot and wholesome, and as a result, became the perfect icon for the safe-sex generation. Every studio had a dozen projects with her.
I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is, Julia Roberts. Hi, how are you? Nice to see you. Are you okay? Come on over here. Well, wait a minute. What do you have there?
Oh, it's my pig.
Oh no, here, Charlie. Get off our guest, please. He's behaving like Wendell. All right.
Her name on them. She could write her own ticket, and she did. A one-way ticket out of the limelight. Julia pulled a garbo and disappeared. But why?
Was Pretty Woman fun to make?
Oh, it looks like it was fun. It was... Certainly I didn't spot the trouble. I'd interviewed her at length only a few months before. She was then all but engaged to Kiefer Sutherland, and life was good, I thought.
Here. Now, you have something that he's interested in there.
Well, it's my pig, Guthrie.
Uh-huh. Well, you want me to take your pig from you?
Well, yeah, well, my pig actually does a little thing here.
Okay, well...
And we'll all watch.
I'll hold it, Charlie. You go ahead and turn the pig on. Go ahead and get it, Charlie. Okay, all right. So that's all. Should we either get rid of... Oh, there goes Charlie. Get rid of the dog or get rid of the pig.
Somebody's got to go. I don't know who.
That's right. Hi, Charlie. How are you?
Shortly before the wedding, somebody called it off. Then it was all downhill. In her next role, a small part in Hook, there were reports that Julia's personal crisis took its toll on the set, prompting an unflattering quote about her from director Steven Spielberg. The press painted rumors of drug abuse, a fragile country girl who hitched a ride on the celluloid comet and then burned out on fame and broken romance.
Nice to see you. Do you want fries with that? All right, let's see. Let me just turn on the machine once, and we'll see if.
He's got
the pig down here. Yeah, got the pig. All right. Why not? Maybe we better take the pig. I'm sure it'll be all right. Just somebody hold the pig.
Hold the pig.
Oh, man, it's a nightmare. It's turned into a nightmare. See, where did you get the pig? It's of some special meaning to you.
I got the pig for my birthday.
In the middle of this publicity nightmare, she agreed to spoof herself in a cameo role in The Player, Robert Altman's stinging indictment of Hollywood. On the same set was an amateur actor and professional musician, Lyle Lovett.
Paul, why have we brought Mr. Miller in here today?
To look at some pictures.
Oh, my friends told me she was too young.
From my friends Stephen and Kenya, they gave me that pig.
How old are you?
I turned 22 last Saturday.
Congratulations. 22? Charlie apparently just had a taste for bacon. You know, I saw you in that Mystic Pizza. I thought that was a real nice film.
Oh, thanks.
Now, was that your first sort of major motion picture? Although it was, I guess people describe that as kind of a small film, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it was...
The shy country star got up the nerve to call the reclusive movie star. And a short time later, in a very sudden and very private ceremony, they were married. For once, the press didn't have the inside story. Most people didn't even know they knew each other.
Thank you, Alan. Have a good weekend.
And now she begins again. Her first starring role in 2.5 years will be a taut legal thriller. Famed director Alan
It was small and kind of theory and budget.
Yeah, but still very entertaining.
I thought so.
Yeah. How did you get the part for that?
I got the part. I went to this audition. My hair is naturally blonde, kind of a dark.
But now it's
blonde.
a little sort of auburn, isn't it?
It's a red
Yeah.
chestnut thing.
Uh-huh.
I went to this audition.
Coolers, The Pelican Brief, based on John Grisham's bestseller. The film co-stars Denzel Washington, her own choice for leading man.
I told him I was your sister Mary in from out of town and couldn't find you.
How'd you know I had a sister Mary?
You're not the only one that does research.
The Julia I sat down with this time was different. She's no longer the new kid on the block, and I think she likes that. On screen, she is famous.
And there were a lot of very, very blonde, kind of willowy girls there as well. And they're all reading their sides and being very kind of stupid.
Reading their sides means
The audition.
they're not
was
doing
seen.
this.
And so they're going over the scene that they're to audition with.
Right.
And I went in and I thought, you know, if I sit here and read this, and I'm going to go in and be like every one of these girls. So I put my Walkman on and I was listening to...
For projecting a sort of innocent vulnerability. In person, you see the confidence.
Julia, tell me about the last 2 years. I mean, there you were making film after film, and then you said, that's it. And you stopped and walked away. That's hard for people to do. There were lots of stories. Why did you walk away?
Well, it wasn't as conscious as sort of, that's it, I'm done kind of thing. It was more...
to Jimi Hendrix at Monterey. And, yeah. And I started to kind of, this feeling came over me, and next thing I was throwing pencils into the ceiling, and all the girls started to kind of notice and get very nervous. And there's something about one person not looking at them, you know, what do they know that I don't know?
Yeah, exactly. Like you're better prepared or
something, like I have like the inside track. So I began to sing Wild Thing.
Just something that was quite normal, which was I finished a movie, and I had been working quite a lot, and I was tired and sort of, you know, done, going to take a break. And then just didn't come back, didn't find anything that was appealing enough to come back. And I was at times enjoying just my day-to-day life so much. That
What did you do?
Nothing spectacular. And having worked so...
Kind of very loudly. And I consequently made everyone very nervous, and went in having manifested this very bold attitude. Read for the part, which I thought went fine, and was then told that I was good, but physically completely wrong.
They were looking for...
Part. They were looking for someone who looked more Portuguese, which is I was supposed to be of Portuguese descent, and the blonde kind of wasp thing wasn't working.
So what did you do?
I went home.
So much for a few years. It took me like almost 1.5 years to realize, hey, I can make every minute exactly what I want it to be.
But you know what everybody said and what all the papers said. Burnt out, exhausted, broken romance, running away. I mean, you read it all. I read it all. You must have read it all. What'd you feel?
It makes you curious. It makes you, just as a person, stop and say, why isn't the truth?
And on the way home, I kept hearing in my head, physically completely wrong.
Yeah.
And I lived down at the South Street Seaport at that time. And just as I got home, I lived across the street from a Lamston's. And I went into Lamston's, and I was in search of a black moose I was going to color my hair because I was told that although I was physically totally wrong, I could meet the director the next day.
Sure.
So in search of a black mousse, I found one company for like the price of 95 cents. I got this enormous can.
It's interesting enough. What I do is give to people. I make a movie, I'm saying this is my blood, sweat, tears, guts, joy, sorrow, everything, the whole ball of wax. I worked on it as hard as I could, and it is for you. It is for everybody. Everybody gets it. I give it to everybody. Nobody's excluded. And that's not enough. Well, that's all I have to give. I don't know if it's show business or movies, but there's sort of this strange idea that everybody has to keep moving. Writers have to keep